K.T.E. Put it together. What do you get? A wrestling podcast, unlike any other. Hello. If it's your first time joining us, things look a little bit different than usual.
Exactly. I'm excited.
We're preparing for a little bit of an upgrade in the setup, and right now this is our in-between space, but I think it looks a little bit more professional. We've got bigger monitors set up. That way, if we need to look at something, we're not staring vaguely into the background.
Or we're not looking at our phones.
Right, yeah. We've got a whole bigger setup. Hopefully, we'll be able to shrink the size of the monitors and have a little more of us exposed, but...
Extreme expose kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Extreme
we're not going that extreme, but...
extreme expose kind of stuff. But today we're going to get right into it. We are talking over the weekend recap over Raw and SmackDown, Week 2 of the International Edition. Konner, we'll start with you and your SmackDown lowdown.
Man, I think the lowdown was, again, I'm on Tiffany Charlotte, man. That little face-to-face they did, or the side-by-side on the Jumbotron, that was, I think Charlotte ate her up. But,
Yeah.
It's just...
You're going to have to inform me, because I'll be honest with you, dear viewers. I watched SmackDown a day late, and I skipped through that segment.
I actually didn't watch SmackDown at all. I kind of was following on Twitter.
Really?
There's a lot going on here, folks.
Yeah,
But it's just, I don't know. The road to WrestleMania is supposed to be this big moment, you know? Other than the somewhat Cena Cody thing, I don't know how excited I am for Mania. I've been more excited for other Manias. Last year, I was excited all the way through Mania season.
That's fair.
Because you had Rock showing up every week. You had Roman and Rock and Cody and Seth and Drew and Seth, and you had all this stuff going around. This year, it's just like they're focusing on Cena Rhodes for sure. They're also focusing on Charlotte and Tiffany, which is those are matches that we're getting, so that we know of. But there's still so much to clean up, and we only have a month away. We're only a month away from Mania, and there's still a lot to clean up. And this is normally the time of WWE. One, they're never normally this late into the year in April. They're normally beginning of the month to maybe the second week of April.
Yeah, at this point, it'd be Mania next weekend.
Right, but here we are. We still have a month away, and they're just now doing international stuff. It's like, that's cool. The international crowds have been cool. I've loved seeing it, but there's just I'm not getting as hyped up as I usually do for Mania season.
We did get a little bit of clarity, and that I'm sure you'll get to.
Yeah. So that for my lowdown on SmackDown, that's that. That was the Charlotte Tiffany spot. I think the Street Profits had a good moment on Friday night. I'm excited to see what they do with their tag team title reign. The United States title situation looks off. I don't know if Jimmy's going to be getting the match. I don't know who's going to go after LA Knight. I don't know if they're even going to put the match on Mania. They may do it for Friday because they always have to do it Friday before Mania. So
it's interesting because next week, as we saw, Braun Strowman is challenging LA Knight. And Braun Strowman's comments here on SmackDown stated, the reason I want that United States Championship because it virtually guarantees a spot on the Mania card.
But it doesn't, though.
It doesn't, but the fact that he's saying that does give me hope to think
that we're getting something at Mania for
the U.S. Championship.
Right,
yeah.
And as I've always been a big believer in, all the championships should be defended on Mania.
I'd agree, yeah.
Whether you, like we've talked about a couple weeks ago, whether you have Raw do one night, Saturday, and then SmackDown do Sunday, whatever you do, you always have the championship matches. And then you throw in the little tweaker matches, like Bianca and Naomi. That's going to be a WrestleMania match. I love seeing Liv beat Jade.
Did you say tweaker matches?
No, I don't know, probably.
I was thinking in my head, tweaker,
No, they're Like they tweak the like they're gonna throw in
Okay, I see what you mean.
They're gonna
Yeah.
tweak Mania a little bit by throwing in filler matches.
Yeah, yeah.
I meant to say filler, but then I heard tweak of
It's Bianca versus Jade crack on a pole match.
cocaine on a bull match. First one to go up, the snort wins.
Yeah.
But no, I mean I was excited to see Liv beat Jade. It's Jade's first loss as a singles competitor. Even though she's only had like 3 whole matches in her entire WWE career, but so I mean they're setting that storyline up pretty well. With Naomi being the heel, it looks like. But again, I still think they're gonna come up with a video that Bianca was a part of it. So I'm also not happy about what's going on with Raw. But overall, SmackDown's probably staying where it's normally been at. Like I said, there's just this Mania season I haven't been as hyped because again, there's too much time to get me to get to Mania. Now, if WrestleMania was next week, I'd probably be all for it. But even then, I may not be all gung ho on everything because there's still a lot to clean up. But that's what we still have a whole month left.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Cena Rhodes, Cena's leaving after Monday. We won't see him until Mania. So Cody's gonna have to carry most of this going into Mania. There's still a lot of time to clean up the tag division on SmackDown. There's still a lot of time to clean up the U.S. title picture on SmackDown. So there's just a lot that they have to do, and they have to cram it within the next four weeks. But that's what 3-hour shows are for.
Right.
So that helps too. And the one downside about having 3-hour shows, yeah, it goes on longer than it kind of should have. Not that we don't like wrestling. It's just sometimes shows don't need to be 3 hours.
No.
Raw's done it really well in the 2 to 2.5 hour range.
This week, I think, without commercials, it was barely 2 hours.
I don't get commercials.
Yeah, well,
anyway,
you can't see him, but I'm giving you a gesture.
He's saying I'm number one, but yeah. So it's so the 3-hour shows aren't always bad, but normally you don't want a 3-hour show. But that's why this Mania season is so important because they have so much time with these 3-hour SmackDowns to get that picture clear when Mania comes.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what day each match is going to be on. I can't wait for that week when they're like, all right, we know Saturday night is going to be these matches. Sunday is going to be these matches. I also can't wait for predictions because predictions are always fun around here.
Yeah, the week before Mania, we're going to try to get those out maybe Wednesday, Thursday that week.
But yeah, I mean, SmackDown's pretty much staying the same at the moment until they can pop off something crazy. But I mean, and then you got they finally set up the triple threat match. That was the highlight of the whole night.
The main event, yeah.
Was
all 3 under the same roof.
Right. And CM Punk called him out. They've never beaten him one-on-one. He's never lost to any of them one-on-one. So, I mean, technically Punk lost to Rollins, but
well, he clarified. He said without the other
exactly.
help.
But that's what I was getting at. Without Roman pulling him out. But it's like I have a feeling we're gonna get a semi-shield power bomb at Mania on CM Punk. but
I will give this guy credit. Before we ever started the podcast, I had made a stat that Rollins had never lost to Roman Reigns, but he corrected me. He had. I could have swore.
Yep.
But it was very early on in their WWE
It's also
career.
when we first started the podcast. Obviously, you guys know I'm the rumor guy. I said something probably before Rumble that we were going to get a triple threat between these 3.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how they were going to set it up. They've set it up really well though. Because CM Punk got screwed on Monday night in Madison Square Garden against Rollins and so they've set this up so beautifully that probably was going to be main event night 1. I don't think it should be because I know everybody's giving Jay crap because he's botched things, but there's a rumor I'll go on about that. But if Jay wins at Mania, you can't tell me the entire Las Vegas community is not going to be eating
Well,
all
yeah.
throughout Mania. So it's like you try to come up with that moment and then go on. The triple threat match may be the match of the night. That's fine. I don't think it's a main event match.
Mm,
I think it's the match before the main event. We've had that happen before. You had Taker Shawn at 25,
right.
and then guess what match came on after that? Orton Triple H. And that match was okay for what it was.
Hmm.
But you have to follow up the Taker Shawn match.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if this is what they're going to do and have the triple threat before Jay wins at Mania, I'm all for it. I don't care if Gunther destroys him and Jay wins on a roll up. I don't care, but I mean I would, but I want the match to kind of be good, but I think if you have such a high quality match of a triple threat before the main event,
Hmm.
that's gonna relieve some of the hype of the main event because it's like, oh, they're gonna have to go on after this. But again, we've seen that before, so I'm hoping they don't put it at main event. They could, but I wouldn't be upset if they do. But
It's I see both ways. I do because I think of Jay and the predicament that he's in. They haven't built the match up to be main event worthy right now. And if you're looking at it from a crowd perspective, this match is not hot. Jay still is.
yeah,
So do you look at it and think, okay, because Jay's hot and the moment of him winning and the interaction of him winning supersedes the match that they have,
yeah,
then okay, sure, yeah, we can have our cake and eat it too. Have a great triple threat match, and then move on and have
a semi good main
main
event.
event. But everyone forgets about the match because they're too busy eating their heart out
Yeah,
afterwards.
and then it's like then during the main event, if that is the main event, then everybody's still yeeting around Las Vegas because he just won the World Heavyweight Championship, and it's like,
Yeah,
so there's so many avenues that they still have to clean up on that aspect. What's going to be the main event of night one? Obviously, we know Cena Cody is going to be night two main event. There's no doubt about it. They're not
yeah.
going to put Cody any other time. Especially against Cena, one of the biggest matches because we've seen a new side of Cena we've never seen before. But
I think if you're gonna put the triple threat as main event night one, there has to be something on the line.
yes, I saw a rumor about that. Somebody, or not a rumor, somebody said this match should be the winner goes against champion of their choosing at Backlash.
Oh,
So if they want to go
okay,
after Cody or Cena, or they want to go after Jay or Gunther, there's your main event at Backlash. Winner of
interesting.
this match goes on to get a championship match. I would be okay with that. Or you could hang something up and have a contract that's kind of like a mini Money in the Bank, but it's just something. It's just like a clipboard up there, and it's a contract for a championship match. Um,
I was thinking maybe something more storyline
yeah,
implicative, maybe something. Of course, we've always got this favor looming about. Maybe it's
yeah.
something to do with
I'm
the
waiting.
favor.
I'm waiting for that to pop up. I'm
But
hoping we get a little bit of clarity on Friday, or obviously again we have a month till Mania, so
right, right. Because
Punk
on
and
Friday he made mention of it. He said, "We'll get to that later."
I also saw another little picture, and it was like, what if after the whole thing, you see Seth Rollins shaking hands with Paul Heyman at the end?
Oh,
So there's so many avenues to the story that are awesome, but again, I'd be totally okay with them doing it before a subpar main event because then it relieves the stress of the main event. Because if Jay does win, we all know the crowd's going to go crazy. If Gunther wins, the crowd's not going to be as happy, but they still are on that high
from the previous
from the
match,
previous match.
rather than
So,
going into the main event upset.
yeah. Because if you go into the main event upset, it's not going to go well for that main event. It's kind of like they hyped up the Brock and Goldberg WrestleMania 20 match, and the crowd booed the crap out of them because they knew the implications. Brock was leaving and Goldberg was leaving. So it's like,
To be fair, the main event of 20 was an epic triple threat
well,
that made people forget.
exactly. But that's the thing, though, is like, you know people won't forget if Jay loses, though. And obviously, with the way they're pulling that storyline, they may pull the card where Jay doesn't win. my prediction is Jay's winning, but um,
I understand that there's a moment in time where that's probably a case to be made, but you've gotten this far.
yeah.
And really, Gunther's a great worker. He is. But him being world champion for some reason has constructed his character arc to just being this one thing rather than the multifaceted wrestler
And
he was.
I'm gonna ask because I've never really before he showed up on SmackDown, and what is the big deal with Gunther being a champion? He has been a champion in 90% of his WWE tenure. It seems like it's been it's been like 80 to 90% range. What is this obsession with Gunther being a world champion all the time? It's like I don't get that. I don't get the hype from that. I like Gunther as I do. I like Gunther a lot. He does the work. He's great. But why does he have to be a champion? His reigns have not been that good. His IC title reign was okay. It went on a little too long, but it was okay. You had Chad Gable who should have won the title going back. I love Sammy, but they should have given Chad that. Um,
I agree.
but it's just why is Gunther just this? He's got to be the world champion. He has to be. He has to be the world champion. Why? I don't see why he has to be. But again, this title reign, he's not done much. So I think you give Jay the win. There's so many avenues you can do as the underdog champion. It's kind of like
Yeah.
again, it's kind of like Ray. Ray shouldn't have won at 20. Obviously, we know why he did. Because I think WWE did it because he's paying tribute to Eddie. So it made sense for Ray to win at 22,
Mhm.
and have that underdog storyline until Booker beat him. You have Jay have this run. You can give Drew McIntyre his chance to be a world champion at SummerSlam. Give Jay a run till SummerSlam, then Drew comes out and it's like, hey, I'm gonna go against you, whatever. Or if you want to give Drew another shot with the Money in the Bank, give him another shot. But he kind of got screwed by CM Punk.
Mhm.
But there's so many avenues they could do. But yeah, so I think the we're still trying to figure out what that favor is with Punk though. So hopefully we get some clarity this Friday. But
I don't know if the clarity's going to come this
no,
Friday, but
well, a little bit more clarity. We probably won't get an actual answer till the Friday before Mania or something. But
I just hope it's something worthwhile.
yeah,
The favor.
yeah, because they've been dragging this on for a bit.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It's like what is the actual favor gonna be?
If the favor is something simple like you have the pull in WWE to make this the WrestleMania main event,
That's yeah. That's
what do you
just
think about that? Because the favor could be Punk's never had a WrestleMania main event, right? And
I
so
would.
you look at Paul Heyman and go, "Hey, Heyman, this is my favor that I'm asking. Make this the WrestleMania main event. Make this my main event."
Nah,
No, you
no,
don't think that's a worthwhile favor?
no. I think you've gone on too long with this favors thing, and you can. I mean, they drug on the Jade and Naomi and like the Jade thing. They may have been just trying to get Jade to train. I mean, she might have actually been hurt, but I think she also just needed more training because I don't think she was quite ready for WWE. So she's got that training under her belt. She's looked better. She looked better Friday night than she has in a while. So she probably needed more training in WWE than when she first showed up. Because when she first showed up, she was kind of just three moves, one, two, three kind of thing. Uh, but now that she's gotten a little bit more training under her belt, I think she's going to do really well. Um, my mind might be switching with Jade. Like I might
Hmm.
finally be, oh, I understand why everybody sees her as the powerhouse that she is. Um, but you drag on a storyline for too long, it kind of just it feels like a meh feeling. And I think they've gone on too long with this favor thing. I think after Survivor Series, whenever Punk was like, "All right, Paul, we're gonna talk next Friday," or if like he's walking out of the cage, he's like, "Paul, I'll see you Friday," and then they talk, he's like, "Paul, I want my favor," and then they gone on with it. It didn't have to be the following Friday. It could have been a couple weeks down the road, but I think if they're just like, "Oh hey, I want my favorite to be the main event. I would be like, really? That's what we're going with? You have this favor that you've wanted for all this time, and you could have just told you could have told head writing before, but like, hey, we're doing it this way. Like, I don't know. He could have pulled a Cena string and said, we're doing it this way. Like, we are the main event.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what it is, and it's very possible that WWE threw this into the storyline, only having a vague idea of
Yeah.
how it would shape, and then now figuring out how it blends into the story, figuring out, okay, what's this? It's like their last bullet in the chamber.
Yeah.
They're only going to use it when they deem necessary. Therefore, they're going to loom it all over CM Punk's and Heyman's interactions with Roman. Ooh, what's this favor? This favor. This favor. Hey, I've got a favor.
Hey, I need a favor. What's the favor?
And to your point, I think because they've drug it out so longer of a stretch of time, us fans, we worked ourselves into a frenzy as to what it could be.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, I'm geared to think, don't be so disappointed when it's something kind of lame,
right.
or so simple.
Yeah. Don't be so upset if it's just the main event at Mania. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, don't be so upset on that.
But
But we also got confirmed on the show, SmackDown that is, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens.
I'm very excited about that. There has to be a stipulation added.
I was gonna ask you that.
I think this is a match that if you really wanted to, I don't know how many matches we're going to get on Saturday and Sunday between both shows. If you want to make this an hour-long street fight, I'd be fine with that. Because you saw what Kevin Owens and Sammy did.
Right.
I think it could be better with Randy. Because Randy is so devious and demonic. In moments, he has to be. That I think this could be. I don't think they'll pull the hour string. I honestly would be like this match probably doesn't need to be an hour.
No.
But if they do it, I wouldn't be upset. But I think you need like a good old fashioned Extreme Rules match. Randy needs to punt the head off Kevin Owens, and there we go.
I was very curious as to why they didn't announce it as a stipulation match. Do you think they're saving that for another match in their series?
I feel like it's too early to do that because if you just start announcing them now, we still have a month. Again, we still have a month till Mania. If you announce it now that this match is street fight, they're probably gonna brawl within the next month.
So you think by the time that they're
By
brawling,
the time that they're getting to that, Nick Aldis gonna be like, you know what? Hell in a Cell, steel cage, street fight. He's gonna it's gonna be the 2 weeks before WrestleMania. He's gonna like, you know what?
okay, to
I'm
build up that hype.
He's like, you know what? I'm tired of y'all beating the crap out of each other and us breaking it up. WrestleMania, we're putting you guys in a Hell in a Cell match. Bam, there you go.
Yeah.
Go beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, because it feels weird that they're threatening to end each other's careers, and it's like, I'm gonna face you in a one-on-one basic rules match.
You also realize that if they pull the steel cage match, Kevin's probably going to try to do the jump off the cage through the table thing. We might get another Shane McMahon moment at WrestleMania.
Ah, okay.
I'm all for it if they do. But yeah, it's nice to see they've announced the match, but they're only doing it now because they're probably going to save the stipulation part for a couple weeks down the road because they're going to be beating the crap out of each other every week. We just know that's going to happen. These two hate each other. They're going to just beat the living crap out of each other. So there's going to be security getting RKO'd and stunned and all that. And we're going to get a stipulation a couple weeks before Mania. They're going to be like, you know what? Just throw them in a Hell in a Cell match. Let's do it. Let these two go mano a mano. Just beat the crap out of each other until somebody can't move anymore.
Yeah. But it's
But
nice to know the fact that they're just announcing the match.
yeah, and it's a good feeling that they're just announcing it right now because we knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I kind of said something before the Rumble, like I've heard rumors of Mania, and it's nice to know that some of these rumors are actually coming true because I'm just hearing them. Like
Hmm.
obviously, I don't believe all the rumors I hear. I just relay them, and I'm like, oh, I could see the reason why they do that. Obviously, Kevin Pyle drove Randy into the mat. Makes sense. Okay, we're this far out from Mania. It makes sense, but
And SmackDown's got some interesting vignettes coming around too.
yeah, we're getting I think we're getting a new luchador.
Yeah.
Is it Ray?
Yeah, Ray
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Which I don't know. What about the one Americano dude that's over on
We'll
Raw?
get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Uh,
But there also had this mysterious four. I don't know if you saw
I
that.
did not see that one.
No, they've had that for a couple weeks. It's been a Black Smoke number 4, and the only guy that I can think of for
Aleister
that
Black.
is
Huh.
Aleister Black.
I'd be okay with that. I liked Aleister Black when he was in WWE.
I'm I'm a little surprised that he left the first time around,
Well, I don't think
but I think it's because he released him, and
Vince was a very just. You know what? I just want to release people because their contracts are so much. It's
yeah,
like
Aleister Black probably was that guy, which is weird because when he was in WWE, he was still on the main roster at that time, and he had the eye patch gimmick that was
yeah,
going over really well.
because he did wasn't it? Didn't he still do that over in AEW where he kind of had the cover on the eye? Not like
It wasn't an eye patch;
he just had different
it was
colors.
blacked out. Yeah, his
Yeah,
eye was
because
blacked
wasn't
out.
that Seth Rollins' gimmick in 20?
Yeah, where
COVID
he was
year?
pushing people's eyes
Yeah.
out.
So
Yeah.
Aleister Black pulled it off really well. He kept the gimmick going for
Well, yeah,
Ray.
because
Just gave up on it. Ray was like, nope, I'm good."
but Alistair, he literally made it a character moment.
Yeah.
It turned him into what we were calling the Dark Father. I loved, speaking of KO, I loved Alistair and KO's rivalry after he first turned heel
Yeah.
Black. That was very interesting. Cold, calculated Black against crazy Kevin Owens. Needless to say, I think literally as soon as Black comes back to WWE, main event push.
Yeah.
I could see him, Cody, right off the bat.
I could see that. Or again, if they pull the trigger on Jay winning, you have him versus Jay.
Yeah.
And you got to give Jay fresh competitors because Gunther's going to be probably like, I want my rematch. It's like, okay, they'll go again at each other at Backlash. But if Jay retains at Backlash and they do a long-ish title reign for Jay until SummerSlam, Aleister Black could pop up after Jay retains and attack him. And then Jay comes out on Monday and he goes, yo, Aleister, we're going to do this. And they'll go at whatever pay-per-views after Backlash. So I'd be fine with Aleister getting main title push.
It'll be interesting to see how, because the brands are so wish-washy right now. We've got people on Raw being on SmackDown,
Yeah.
SmackDown being on Raw. We thought the transfer portal would clean everything up, but if there's a WWE draft that's going to happen, maybe we're heading towards that.
Which that better end all of this because I want the superstars to be on their brands, and I'm done with the crossing overs. It's
Or we'll just lead into a position where it's just going to happen, how it's going to happen.
probably that's what WWE seems to do. They don't know how to keep the brand split a thing.
Yeah. Well, as for SmackDown, I think that we've exhausted most of what we wanted to say.
Yep.
Moving on to the Raw recap. The greatest luchador of all time, El Grande Americano. Thank you. Who is 100% bona fide luchador, lucha libre legend, and 100% not Chad Gable.
Okay.
We saw Dr. Snow. He had a legit doctor's note that he gave to Adam Pearce. And Adam, I love it because Adam just took it as gospel. He was like, "This is legit, Ray. My hands are tied."
I'm all for the Chad Gable luchador gimmick. I'm for it.
He's not Chad Gable. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how many times Chad Gable has to tell you. Listen, have you ever seen Chad Gable in a Grande Americano in the same room?
Actually, yes. Yeah, the first night they pulled it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say. You've seen them in the same room, therefore they are not the same person.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Case closed.
okay. Well, he pulled Dragon Lee's mask off, so, that's very disrespectful to the luchadors.
It is, yeah.
But I do going based off like obviously we know Chad. I do dig the gimmick
Hmm.
because he was having such a hard time with Penta that he's like, you know what, I'm gonna join the Luchadors, and he's done really well with it.
Oh yeah.
So I'm super excited to see Chad get a mid card title reign with the IC title as the Luchador.
He Chad Gable was suffering when he was not being able to beat the Luchadors. Therefore, he embraced the identity and has become a huge fan of the Grande Americano. We can only see where this new Raw superstar is going to go from here. Maybe he will get a title push. But as for Chad Gable, T's and prees. Thoughts and prayers. He's out sick this week. I hope next week we can get the Dragon Lee match, but
Y'all hear this, right? Like, he's full of crap.
No, it reminds me of the Mr. America gimmick, who definitely wasn't Hulk Hogan.
No, that definitely wasn't Hulk Hogan. Worst character ever, but whatever. Anyways, back to Raw.
Yeah, your regularly scheduled Raw program. Cena and Cody started off the show, which was cool to see face to face, but I don't think we got the war of words that we were expecting last week when we did our recap of Raw. It's something that I think they're waiting to build to that crescendo. Cena is still fleshing out his heel character. As it stands, Cena said his piece. Cody's come out and said, "How dare you?" And then Cena walks away.
Yeah.
That's been the equivalent of what we've gotten. But I like it because it's showcasing how disrespectful Cena is being and feeling towards the fans right now. But it also shows that Cody's willing to come to their defense, and not only the fans' defense, but pro wrestling's defense. Because Cena said that he's going to ruin wrestling for everybody because over the years, he's been taking note of how you feel and experimenting with us, and now he's going to ruin wrestling for everyone. That's what he said on Monday.
And I'm hoping Monday Cena and Cody just go blow to blow with words.
Yeah.
Because Cena's not going to be back until Mania.
And if that is the case, on Monday, we need that.
Yeah.
We need them face to face yelling at each other.
You need Cena to do one of it. You need Cena to bury Cody on the mic. Cody, you do, because that gives Cody 4 weeks to be like, oh, I know what he's talking about. I have to not change, but he's like he's got to resonate what Cena said. He's got to let it soak in.
So you got to give him a reason to reflect while Cena's gone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because with Cena being gone, Cody has to come up with 3 more weeks of crap to say about Cena. And do this. Is he going to wrestle within the next 3 weeks? Is he just going to go out and be like, what are we going to talk about? It's like, you got to have Cena do his natural, like he did with Roman. I'm doing this thing part-time better than you can do this full-time kind of thing. Because then that'll rejuvenate Cody a little bit by him sitting here being like, now I have to think about this for the next 3 weeks while Cena's off filming another movie in Budapest or wherever.
Right.
So that's why I think Cena needs to bury him on the mic, because Cena's gonna come out, he's gonna talk to the crowd. Cody's gonna come out, he's gonna try to talk to Cena. Cena's gonna be like, enough, and then finally pop off on Cody. And then when he does, he's gonna walk out the ring. Cody's gonna be like,
Yeah, give the Cody face of like,
he's like,
I'm deeply disturbed by this. I'm thinking about this.
He's like, hold on. It's kind of like when The Rock said, "I want your soul." He's like, what? Like, he wants my soul. Like, so it's one of those things. It's just they have to go word for word at Mania.
Now I'm very interested because you've looked at the dates. I'm assuming of Cena.
Mm-hmm.
He's not advertised past next
I
week.
haven't seen him advertised past next week. I mean, it may change after Monday, but at the moment, he is not advertised.
Well, because let's look at the calendar. We're going into April, and it's April 20th. He's advertised next week, which is the 31st. That gives us the 7th and the 14th.
That gives us 2 weeks without Cena.
That gives us 2 weeks without Cena.
Yep. So I think Cody could do it for 2 weeks, just because he's going to come out April. If he's there April 7th on Monday night, he's going to be like, guys, I don't know I don't know if I can beat Cena. He's gonna have that feeling. He's like, I don't know if I can do this. And then on the 14th, he's gonna come out and be like, you know what? I'm gonna whoop Cena's ass and just pop off about Cena, whatever he's gonna do. Or I thought we were getting something with The Rock. Does The Rock come out Monday night? Maybe. I mean, I heard something about The Rock possibly showing up. So maybe we get The Rock to show up the last night Cena's there, and The Rock goes off. Like, I don't know. And we're not technically not in a heel Cena moment. He's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's just a human being.
I love you as a human being. He's just a human being.
But anyways, yeah, it's just there's so much they have to do on Monday. And it's going to be very hard to it won't be hard because if Cena buries Cody, Cody's going to come out in the next 2 weeks and be like, I'm going to go beat Cena at Mania. I have Cena right where I want him kind of thing.
Well, and if that is the case, you have to have what you would consider a go-home promo next week.
Yep.
Something that builds the hype to Mania.
And then do we finally get Cody punching Cena?
It'd be nice. It would be nice if it ended in a pull-apart brawl, but it could be like you've said. Cena stings Cody so hard that he has to just sit. And
he's got to soak on that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't think they're gonna pull that kind of card with Cena. The only time they did the brawl with Cena is against Brock.
Oh, so you don't think that they're going to do a brawl?
I don't think they'll do it with Cody and Cena. I just don't think it'll happen. I think that, again, I think Cena's going to come out Monday night, go hard on the mic, and Cody's going to be like, I have to sit with this for 2 weeks. Oh, shit. What do I do? And then he's going to, like, go on SmackDown and be like, what do y'all want to talk about? And then he's going to do it again on Monday. What do y'all want to talk about? Unless they keep him off of Raw for the next 2 weeks after that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. I'm excited to see their final face-to-face before we don't see Cena we literally don't see Cena for a month.
And hey, that joke's not funny.
It's not.
Hasn't been for 25 years.
It's always been funny, actually. Cena, I'm sorry. I love you, John, but it's always been funny. It will forever be funny. You're the one that said you can't see me, so guess what? We literally told you we can't see you.
I need to get one of those action figures that's just transparent John Cena.
The invisible John Cena.
Yeah, the you can't see me edition.
But I don't know, man. I'm excited to see the final face-to-face before we get to Mania. Now, like I said, we could get a Rock. We could not get a Rock. But
moving on with the show, we had Jey Uso's mystery partner, and it was
the stupidest thing ever, okay?
The most predictable outcome you would think.
I am so upset with this moment, okay? You're telling me a guy that's from Scotland, I think he's from Glasgow, Scotland, Joe Hendry? I don't know where he's actually from, but you're telling me, you're telling me you couldn't have gotten the TNA World Heavyweight Champion for one night when you guys had this partnership? Really? That would have been the perfect moment. You have the crowd yeeting and everything. All of a sudden, just imagine that theme song pops up, and it's like you're blowing the roof off of that place. But no, we have to go with his brother. It's like I like Jimmy and all, but come on, man.
They did the smart thing by not having Jimmy have his own introduction, because if they would have done that, imagine the silence and then it's Jimmy Uso's music. The crowd would be like, "Oh, what?
Yeah.
No, you played us for fools."
Yeah. So they just brought Jimmy out through Jay's music, which
Yeah.
I get it. Jimmy and Jay, the Usos back together. That's great.
No, I mean, if we didn't have an expectation, you and I, of what could be and the fun that could have had because
Right.
of it, this is the smartest decision.
Yeah.
Having the Usos come together is a big deal.
Right. And
Storyline implications.
And the reason I'm going off on a tangent is because I like Joe Hendry, and I think he deserves to be in WWE. He's one of the hottest stars outside of WWE. He showed up at the Rumble for one night. The crowd went crazy, but you've shown the TNA belt. Title on at the Royal Rumble. You're telling me you couldn't show that one night on the Raw? Like, just imagine the unthinkable. The TNA World Heavyweight Champions on Monday Night Raw. It's like we've got this partnership with TNA going. Use that.
Mm-hmm.
Use that momentum. But I'll stick with Jimmy.
It was a tag team match on Raw. And they used Gunther's beatdown afterwards as a moment of Jay reflecting in the stairwell saying, "I don't know if I can beat him, Moose." And that's when Jimmy challenged Gunther to a match next week.
And rumor-wise, I'm hearing this is all part of Jay's storyline. The missing the spear,
tripping.
The tripping and all that. That's a part of Jay's storyline, is because he's having so much doubt that he can't do this, because he's been getting beat down by Gunther so much that he's sitting there sulking. He's like, I don't know if I can win. They may pull the Rocky. It's like they're going to pull the Rocky thing at WrestleMania. He's like, "Yo, Uso, I did it. I'm the world champion." But I think they're running with it, and I think it's working.
Yeah.
I think Jay being the vulnerable Jay, where he's like, "Man, I don't know if I can do this." Like, I think it's working really well for him. He's still the hottest star right now. Like, the minute his theme song goes, everybody's just like, you got Pat McAfee on the table and Michael Cole, and Michael Cole's waving his arms like this. But
yeah, it's just a shame that through all of this, Jay Uso has to have a mediocre feud with A-Town Down Under. Just because they've got nothing to do at the moment, and Jay Uso needs an easy, beatable team.
yeah.
That they're not, despite the fact that they were on NXT challenging for the championship a little while ago, on the main roster, they are not main card. They are mid card. And you aren't going to convince me them beating A-Town Down Under is main event worthy.
No.
Now, a couple weeks ago, they had a match that was bad, but it showcased Jey Uso was able to dominantly win.
Right.
Just from a match perspective, it wasn't great, but from a character perspective of Jey Uso beat this high-level mid-card guy, we'll be generous, with a crossbody.
You're talking about the 15-second match.
Yeah, it was bad, but it showcased how dominant Jey Uso can be.
It shouldn't have been that short of a match. They were supposed to go like 15 minutes.
Really?
Cody and Cena's segment went way too long. And Netflix is having that issue with timing, which you would think it's Netflix. There's not supposed to be a time limit. So why are we cutting a match?
Right. If you want it to go 15, go 15.
Right, because you guys can do a 3-hour show. You guys can do an hour show. Triple H said we can go anywhere from 45-minute show to 3 hours.
Yeah.
I would hate a 45-minute show because that would be bullcrap. But they're trying to keep this 2.5-hour window. But why are you cutting matches if Netflix is like, you can go on for 5 hours if you want to?
Yeah.
I would not be a fan of that because I'd be like, hour 4, it's like basketball. There's 9 months in the playoffs. We're finally getting to the championship. It's like, but no, it's like, why are you cutting a match if Netflix has no timeline,
Yeah.
no time limit? Um, but uh, yeah, I'm just ready for Mania, honestly. Like everything's been cool. Like I'm okay with where things are going, but
This match is it just needs to get to the match.
yeah.
They have told the story that they want to tell so far. He just grabbed the cord out of my hand.
I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, if you want to just unplug that technical break from from KTE.
anyways, back to what we're talking about.
But no, this is a match that just needs to get to Mania.
Yeah.
They've pretty much told the story that they want to tell, and yes, we can have the moment of Jay overcoming his self doubt, but it's just like we're at this stretch in the movie where you look at it and you go, "Ugh, I see where they're going. Can we just get there?"
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, next segment.
Yeah. So on the next segment, well, not in chronological, but
Right.
next one that we're talking about, the Women World Championship. Io Sky is defending it next week in a rematch against Rhea Ripley. Adam Pearce came out in the ring, yelled, and said, "I've been trying to get you for weeks, Rhea. Telling you you have a rematch, but you can't just go signing a piece of paper. This is not legally binding, but that doctor's note is. His hands are tied."
Exactly.
Therefore, all three of them come out. Bones are made, and here I am expecting, okay, this is when the triple threat happens. But no, we've got to waste another week and let a DQ finish happen next week in order for that to be the case. What I will say, special guest referee matches are always fun.
But we know how it's going to end because WWE's put themselves in a corner with putting a pay-per-view 3 weeks into a month.
Right.
If you had WrestleMania next weekend, like we've talked about, we would not be in the mindset where we're at.
No.
Because it'd be like, oh my God, it's next week. Oh my God. Like, we're excited. We have a month left, and they have to drag out so much. We know Io and Rhea are going to go to DQ. We know Bianca's going to do her thing. We know what's going to happen. It's going to eventually end up being a triple threat match.
To be fair, even a couple weeks ago, we expected that Rhea was going to be Ego, and then it was just going to be Bianca versus Rhea.
Right. So
and
they've
things
thrown
have changed.
they've thrown a little bit of a wrench in the plans, but I've also seen people on Twitter saying this is a WrestleMania main event worthy match. No, it's not. Absolutely not. This match has not been warranted to be a main event match. I am sorry. I'm not dogging the women. I'm not dogging any of them.
No, there's
This
just not
match-
enough story.
Exactly. You cannot tell me this storyline between these three are like, you know what? I would like that to be the closing show.
Mhm.
You know, forget Jay, forget Cody and John. We're gonna make this the main event. No, absolutely not.
I would rather see the triple threat than I would this match that I'm about to say. However, if you were going to choose one, I would say Tiffany and Charlotte is probably more closely deserving of main event
Yes.
status than the triple threat is.
Absolutely.
Just based on story alone.
Right, because Charlotte's beating the crap out of Tiffany. Tiffany kind of got her revenge, and then they talked about it on SmackDown. But it's like, again, this is the problem with WWE is they've put a pay-per-view on at the end of the month. If you put it on next week, or I don't know, the second week of April, it's like, oh, we're almost there.
Right.
We're not almost there yet, folks.
But we still have 3 weeks left.
Right. It's like we're not almost there. And it's frustrating that there's so much they have to clean up, and I don't know how you could do that, even though we already know we're getting a DQ finish next week.
I
Like
mean, that's
that's
what it
just
looks like.
it's
Yeah.
100 unless they swerve us and Bianca actually gives like counts it and whatever.
Maybe helps Rhea win.
Right. But then you throw EO back in there because EO's like, I got screwed out of championship. I want my rematch. So, but it's just that's why WWE put themselves in the corner with putting an April 20th pay per view. It's like, or I'm sorry, premium live event.
Not even to mention the fact that it's Easter. It's like, oh yeah, we don't have families. We don't have
Right.
lives.
Yeah, no, we don't have anything to do Easter Sunday.
Exactly.
It's fine. Because now instead of being at my family's until 8 o'clock, I got to go home at 7 o'clock to start WrestleMania. But, which I'm fine with doing. But,
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, this family gathering is fun and all,
it's
but
great. But what time is it? Oh man, it's like I gotta work tomorrow. Like it's 7 o'clock. Yeah, I gotta go home and get in bed.
then, now, forever.
Got it on your phone. You're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this family gathering is great. Huh? Oh yeah. Oh no, how's the family? Oh yeah. Nope, we're great.
Together.
But it's just that's the problem with what they're doing is they're dragging everything on because they have to. They can announce every match right now. They could.
Yeah.
But then what are we doing for the next 3 weeks? Taking a nap?
Right.
Because it's like, honestly,
well, the Mania card's set. What do we do?
and I'm not trying to be that guy, but trying to sit through Raw and SmackDown when you know Mania is not for another month, it's really hard to do. And I've honestly been so bad at doing it. I haven't been able to sit down and just be like, okay, especially with Monday, with the last 3 weeks being on 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I have to work.
Yeah.
Like, I can't sit there and be at work and be like, oh, yeah, I'll get your, yep, nope,
I mean,
no.
even me, Mondays are usually my day off.
Right.
I totally forgot again. I knew that it was early, but totally forgot that Raw was early.
Yeah,
so I'm sitting here at 5 o'clock going, oh crap, Raw's on.
Right. It's like, it's just, it's hard to watch right now. I think after Mania, I'll be able to finally sit, relax, and be like, okay, now I know what's going on. I hardly know what's going on because I'm just following on Twitter at this point. Like, I got on Twitter yesterday or on Monday, and I was like, oh yeah, Raw was on. So I went and sat and ate lunch. I was like, all right, Cena and Cody, okay, all right. Kind of scrolled through. I was like, okay, and then we got the main event, Penta and Braun. But going back to that triple threat, man. Let's just announce it now. Let these three smack the crap out of each other every week because that's what they're doing already. And let's just get on to Mania. Like, I'm so ready for Mania, it's not even funny. Like, I have not been this disappointed in a build up to WrestleMania in a long time. And it's hard for me not to be excited about Mania, but this is starting to get to a point where it's like, okay.
Well, when they de facto had a longer wait for WrestleMania, it just puts you in a position where, okay, you're ready for it, but it's not for another 3 weeks. It's hard to get hyped for something that's just enough in the distance.
Yeah.
Whereas if Mania was, I don't
next
know,
week.
next Sunday, you'd be like, all right, Mania's here.
Yeah, it's like we got a week till Mania. Like, it's always exciting time, and it's just, it's hard. It's gonna be really hard to get me excited for Mania. I might forget Mania started. I'm like, oh yeah, WrestleMania's on today. I probably won't, but I'll be like, all right, WrestleMania's this week. But
no, it's not gonna be too bad. You're gonna get hyped because you'll be here.
yeah,
He's like, we'll see about that. But I do want to talk about the main event: Penta versus Braun Breaker. They did not give this match a whole lot of time.
no, and it's because they had to do interference. If you just let Braun and Penta do what they're gonna do, that match could be a solid match. But it's always the mid card titles they do this. But they always have to have a fatal 4-way or a 5-man match for either the U.S. or the Intercontinental Championship at Mania.
Okay, if you're looking at it, who's your contenders?
And I think we're getting a 4-way with Breaker, Penta, Dominic, and Finn.
Oh.
But there's also another match we haven't really brought up. We'll talk about it here in a second. But going back to the main event, I thought Penta looked good. He looked better in this week than he has in previous weeks, in my opinion. Again, I never really watched much of Penta. I don't know his backstory. So I'm watching it from a WWE perspective. I've not watched it from a TNA or a Lucha Underground or an ROH. I've not done that. So I'm watching it from a WWE guy. I'm like, eh. But he looked good on Monday. I think he looked really well. I'm glad they didn't pull the trigger on him winning because I think it's too early. Um, but
Yeah, I was a little nervous that they might do that. I wasn't for sure how Finn was going to play into that, and Dominic asking Penta about joining the Judgment Day. I wasn't for sure how that was all going to play into the main event. Led to a standard fare interference spot,
yeah,
which is disappointing because how it ended was just the Judgment Day on top. And how many times did I see that? All of 23, all of 22,
24.
and then a good majority of 24.
Yeah.
Like the first 6 months of 24.
Yeah.
Just reminded me, the more things change.
And the Judgment Day storyline, just we need to break up that group anyways. But we'll talk about that another day. But
Yeah, it seems like before too long they might be heading that. They're only loosely tied together. The biggest part of that group right now is Dominic and Liv.
Yeah.
And their snuggle buddies.
The romance.
Yeah.
But
now you said there was another match you wanted to talk to about.
So there's a certain guy out there who claims that he wanted to be a full-time WWE superstar.
Mm-hmm.
He showed up Raw on Netflix, Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and the Monday after Elimination Chamber. That's not a full-time schedule there, Logan. I hope you don't get a match at Mania, but if they're going to pull a Logan Paul match at Mania, are they going to put AJ Styles against Logan Paul?
Yeah.
Or are we going to get finally a Karrion Kross match against AJ Styles?
At Mania?
I would not want it to be a Mania, but it probably would be. But we haven't seen enough Karrion Kross to be like, oh, he deserves a WrestleMania match.
Well, they weren't even on the show this week.
No, but I mean, just within the last
few weeks.
It's
yeah.
like,
but I'm just merely stating the fact they weren't even.
They weren't right.
Yeah, they weren't even on the show this week.
But the last couple weeks, it's been like Karrion Kross has done the hair, like AJ's hair. It's like, what is going on with AJ Styles and Karrion Kross and Logan Paul? What is going on with that? Like, are we getting a match with AJ versus Logan? Are we getting a Karrion Kross in the AJ match? Like, what's going on with AJ Styles at Mania? Like. And I'm fine if Logan Paul doesn't get a match at Mania. We know he's probably going to get one if he ever shows up. But it's like, what's going on with AJ? Who is AJ going against at Mania? Because I want AJ Styles at Mania. I love AJ Styles. One of my all-time favorite wrestlers when he was with TNA and now WWE. I was super excited when he showed up in 2016. But
it seems like we've put the Intercontinental Championship match on the back burner, which disappoints me. But as long as you've got an extra direction that you want him to go, we see what he's doing with Cross, but where does that lead? Does it lead to a match? Does it lead to him, I don't want to say turning heel, but embracing an aggressive side?
Right. Well, we tried the heel AJ Styles, and I prefer the face AJ Styles more than the heel AJ Styles.
Well, and especially at this point in his career, He's too loved for people to really truly boo him.
Yeah, and it's just so I'm wondering what kind of match we're getting there. But
yeah, I saw.
So I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, man, like somebody that quotes he's gonna be all in on this. It's like, yeah, okay.
I saw on Instagram. I think it was meant to be serious, but it made me laugh so much. It was him and Logan Paul's morning routine. I don't know. Did you see this?
I did not.
And for the most part, it was him doing his normal morning routine, but he was soaking his head in Prime bowls. He had ice bowls that he was pouring Prime into, and he just went. And it was him in the gym going like this, and then somebody gave him a Prime bowl, and he went. And it was him running, and then he was soaking in Prime, and it was so stupid. It was so stupid. I'm like, there's your full-time WWE wrestler right there.
Yeah. Oh man. But
Well, with that, I think we'll toss it to you guys. We've talked mostly about what we wanted over the weekend. I'd say international crowds are still one of the biggest things over the whole weekend, showcasing the love that these guys pour into, singing songs like Randy Orton's theme song coming in. They always react.
yep.
Always. But we will bring it to you guys. We've poured our thoughts into the weekend. Let us know what you thought about Raw and SmackDown and where this leads us for Mania time. What matches are you excited to see? Do you think that Chad Gable is a grande americano? Because the answer is no. Even if you say that he is, you're wrong. There's a doctor's note to prove it. Adam Pearce's hands are tied. But let us know in the comments down below. Konner, any last thoughts over the weekend?
I am seeing a lot of people getting upset about the crowds with Bianca and how she held up the title. There was no reaction. And people are like, man, they don't deserve her there. And I may have thrown my 2 cents out there, but I haven't gotten any issues with it. But yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't happy with the crowds because of the Bianca stuff. It's like, oh, that's kind of surprising, but maybe she's not as over as everybody thought she was.
Oh, man.
Overrated. Oh man, I had a bad cough there.
Maybe you should go see Chad Gable's doctor.
I should. What's his name again?
Dr. Snow.
All right,
Yeah,
I'm gonna look up Dr. Snow's information. Oh hey, look, I found it. I'm gonna get that doctor's note from work for work.
Yeah. Somehow, why is Konner really into luchadors?
You guys will not see me with the lucha mask ever.
So stay tuned next week on the KTE Wrestling Podcast to see Konner in a luchador mask. Virtually guaranteed.
I will find one. There's no guarantee, but...
Well, until that time, stay tuned with us. This week, we have topic questions coming your way and debuting this Friday, a brand new segment called Remember When with Elijah. We will be talking about the mastermind, Husky Harris, Bray Wyatt, The Fiend, Wyndham Rotunda. So stay tuned with us this week here at KTE Wrestling.